Hey, what's up, YouTube? Just come here to hang out with you following this Thanksgiving weekend. Didn't make a video on Thursday, so I hope you had a great day. Hope you had a good Black Friday. Tonight I'm going to talk about religion a little bit. It's going to probably be a longer video than I normally make, but that's okay. I made a cheat sheet so I can keep my thoughts in order. So tonight I'm going to talk about religion a little bit and hopefully give you some food for thought. If you're not into the religious conversation, I understand. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm not trying to shove anything down your throat. I'm just trying to make some valid points about what I've studied over the last few months and what I've seen and heard, and I'm hoping that it just gets you thinking a little bit about your future. Now, the only religion I know anything about is Christianity. That's what I grew up with. That's what I studied. I'm not a Bible scholar by any means. I'm not practicing in any religion right now. I know there's so many religions out there, it's hard to choose from if you're going to choose one at all. The biggest fear, of course, for most people is, what if I pick the wrong one? And that's a fair question. But you shouldn't use that as an excuse just to go into religion and just go through the motions. If you're going to believe, you need to believe wholeheartedly and not half-assed. And if you're going to base your religious beliefs off a book, you need to make sure you know the book. That way there's no second-guessing yourself later on. Now, as far as I'm concerned, most religious people really are fanatics. They really do take their religion to the next level if they're practicing in their religion and if they believe their Bibles or the Book of Mormons or the Quran or whatever their religious belief is. They really follow it wholeheartedly, and they do everything they can to convert people over. But I want to talk a little bit about the problems with Christianity in a whole, not my personal religious beliefs or what I feel is going on, but some of the controversy surrounding it, and hopefully I get some good comments on this video. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Jesus himself. Now, a lot of the controversy around Jesus, of course, is, was he just a man? Was he a prophet? Or really the Son of God? We don't really know the truth, do we? A lot of things about his birth and about his life just don't make a lot of sense. We can pretty much surmise that he wasn't born December 25th, and probably wasn't even born in the winter. Also, how could his mother be a virgin? She was a married woman, and for her to be a virgin would really be a miracle, because I don't know how many married women are virgins. Let's be real about it. And not only that, she would have had to have traveled 90 miles over rocky terrain in 100-degree weather to go from Nazareth to Bethlehem to give birth. So that would have been really, really impossible at that time, because they didn't have the funds or the transportation to be able to make that journey safely. Now, another thing is it says Jesus was born in a manger. Well, in those days, families didn't have the money to have wooden mangers built. You'd have to be rich to be able to do that. Most of them, the manger was basically the basement of the house where they kept their animals and their extra supplies. And their houses are basically caves built into the mountains. So the woman would go to the bottom cave of the house, and that's where she would give birth. So most likely Jesus was actually born in a cave with the animals, with a lot of people around, not just the three of them. Because back in those days, the families didn't live by themselves. They lived with their families. So that doesn't make a lot of sense in the Bible if it's just the three of them, or that just the two of them made this journey. So we have to look at that. Also, if Jesus was the Son of Man, then why did it take so long for him to come to earth in the first place? Why did God wait so long to send his son down here to make the sacrifice that he did? And why is it that the Bible has so much mystery to it? If this is supposed to be our Savior, if this is supposed to be saving us, and this is supposed to be the whole truth, then why wasn't it put down in writing so clear that you could not misunderstand it? And why hasn't he returned yet? What is he waiting for? I mean, we have no way of knowing if the Bible is 100% true or not, or if it's just, a fictional story written in a real place. And without that knowledge, it's hard to make a good decision about whether you want to follow this religion or not. And so we go on to study the Bible, and we see a lot of inconsistency. You're supposed to have one wife, and you're not supposed to have sex until you're married. But there's kings and men of God throughout the whole Bible that did all of this stuff and sinned against God, but yet they were held up higher than everyone else, and most of them were called saints. But really they wasn't. They were just men, and they fought for a cause. And there's been a lot of men in history like that, and they wasn't called saints. So we really need to look at the double-edged sword here in the Bible. Another thing about the Bible is there's a lot of information missing, either due to translation from the original two languages of Hebrew and Aramaic, or from the fact that man built the Bible and could have left a lot of stuff out of it. The Bible stories are stories that were passed around that people heard or actually witnessed, and they put it down in writing. And people will interpret things and write them as they see it, not necessarily as they happened. So how are we supposed to believe 100% without any doubt that this is true? And we have no way of knowing if the saints are actually the authors of these books. They're supposed to have been, but we don't know that. We don't know for sure. There's a lot of controversy about the Gospels of the Bible, and how that there was actually more than 4 originally. Some say there was over 80 Gospels actually written in the time of Jesus, and that when Emperor Constantine made Roman religion Christianity, that him and several of the religious leaders of the time actually got together and sifted through all the practices and the Gospels and the written texts of the time and edited it to what he wanted it to be, so that it would fit into his belief system. And that's how our New Testament was basically brought forth and added to the Old Testament. But there's a lot of scholars that have studied other writings that said that that couldn't be true. And so that leaves another open door. Did a pagan emperor really build our Bible? Did it really build the New Testament? And how much stuff could have possibly been left out of it? How many Gospels are we missing? How much information is incomplete? And not only that, but when you translate things from one language to another, there's a lot of problems there, because there might be words missing, there might be ideals missing, an idea might be interpreted wrong. And then when you read it, you might not think it says the same thing your neighbor says. So a lot of the Bible is left to interpretation and how you see it. Another thing is when Jesus came, his birth and death and resurrection changed a lot of practices from the Old Testament to the New Testament. And we're not really sure which practices were actually supposed to have changed, because there's so much controversy within the church itself, and nobody can say definitively without hesitation what needs to be changed to really fulfill what is said in the Bible. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, go to part 2. I'll see you in a couple minutes.